Okay, Co-Chair Priest, I showed 10 o'clock.
Okay, are you ready to get started?
And
All right, well, I want to welcome everyone to the November 6th of 2025 meeting of the Management and Labor Advisory Committee meeting. And it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here and to start with the affirmation that we start each of our meetings, which is, we would like to thank everyone for their time, effort, and participation in our work before us today. We want to recognize that it is very difficult and important work, and we appreciate and value the perspective and professionalism that everyone brings here today. Thank you. And I didn't introduce myself. I'm Patrick Priest. I am the co-chair for the management side. And with that, I do have a hand raised from someone that I don't identify. Um, I think I will defer to roll call to begin and let this individual join in public comment.
sounds good. We're going to do roll call. Sarah Merrick.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Sarah Duckwall.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Co-Chair Strickland.
Present by video.
Good morning. Ryan Hearn.
Present.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
Margaret Woodell.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning, Margaret. Stacy Llewellyn.
Present, thank you.
Good morning, Stacy. Lauren Bulling. Okay, maybe he'll join later. Co-Chair Priest is here. Emily, oh, there he is. I see you, Lauren. Okay. Co-Chair Priest is here. Emily Cronin.
Present by video.
Good morning, Emily. And Kim Schlesinger.
Off audio. Hi, I'm present. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. And Director O'Day, is he available?
I'm here. Thanks, Terry.
Oh, great. Okay,
Good morning,
great.
everybody.
Good morning. All right. We have a quorum.
All right. Thank you, Administrator Watson. With that, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, and it is public comment. We do have one person who has asked to make a public comment, and I will start with Dr. Sabo.
Good morning. My comment is just relative to our proposed legislative concept. LC draft will not be out for some time, and it just does two things to improve access. The first is that it removes the restrictions on chiropractic and naturopathic physicians. And the second thing is to return managed care organizations to open panels, which is how they started. And we would suggest that the current closed panel system is part of the access problem. I don't know if you recall, but my good colleague, Dr. Dan Miller in Woodburn, has been attempting to get on the Majoris panel for some time, has not been able to do so. And I just looked on their webpage, and there's not a single chiropractic physician in Woodburn, Molalla, Silverton, or Turner. And so this would improve access by opening the panels. That completes my comments.
Thank you for those comments, Dr. Sabo. And with that, I know there was a hand raised that is not visible to me anymore. Is that individual wish to make a public comment? All right.
Co-Chair Priest, we don't see the hand either.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any other individuals that wish to make a public comment at this time? All right. Hearing none, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is to review minutes of the October 2nd meeting. Those were distributed. I would entertain a motion or any discussion.
Chair Priest, sorry, I approve and motion for approval.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Cronin, and we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed with the same sign? Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. With that, we move on to the department updates. And first up, we have Workers' Compensation Board updates from Joy Doherty, the Workers' Compensation Board Chair.
Good morning, Co-Chair Strickland, Co-Chair Priest, members of the committee. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I see your screen now.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I believe that in my 23 years of workers' compensation experience, this is the first time I've presented in front of the Management Labor Advisory Committee. So thank you so much for having me. As you know, or you mentioned, I am the current chair of the Workers' Compensation Board. I have been in this position 2 years and 1 month. I've been with the agency 22 years. I'm here today to report on some of the things happening at the board, one of which is modernization. And I know that the Workers' Compensation Division has been also moving forward. Their efforts are slightly different than ours, and this is our first time bringing this forward to the committee. So I'm just really pleased to give you the updates on where we're at and where we're headed. So let's see, thank you, Terry, for sharing our slide deck. We do believe that this will be about a 4-year effort. We started last year, and we are hoping to be complete by 2028. Next slide. So the Workers' Compensation Board functions largely as it did for the last 30 years. We are still a paper-driven process. And so although we do have some electronic means in which parties can communicate with us, it's largely a conduit. So last year we had 13,000 documents submitted through the Workers' Compensation Board's portal. All of those documents are then printed out and placed in paper files. So especially since COVID, we of course have had a lot of stakeholder interest in us moving to an electronic case filing system. So what the board is moving to is looking for a solution that will give us a litigation case management system. Let's see, next slide. So I'm going to maybe move in this discussion with, I know you have some background about the stage gate process, because of course, the Workers' Compensation Division has been moving through that through their RFP, their request for proposal. Of course, there's 2 roads that a state agency has to walk down. One is the budget side, and the other is with DAS, Enterprise Information Systems, which is what we call the stage gate process. In looking at what the Workers' Compensation Board intends to do, because it will impact our entire agency and everyone who interacts with us, we have been assigned Project Oversight Level 3. That's the highest oversight level you can be assigned. And again, not that our project is large, it's just that it will impact everyone who interacts with us. So as I mentioned, I've been in this position 2 years, a little over 2 years. And so I started in October 2023, and very quickly we were budget prep for the 25-27 session. So as soon as, my feet hit the ground, we started working on putting together a proposal to take to the legislature for funding. And through the discussion and development, the legislature ultimately provided $650,000 of startup costs to get us moving forward. So we do have some funds to start this effort, and we are also moving through the stage gate process. Next slide, please. So this is the check the box requirements to move from stage gate 1, that's in blue, to stage gate 2, that's in green there on the left, then to stage gate 3, which is in red, and then stage gate 4. So we are through stage gate 1, and we are in the middle of stage gate 2. Stage gate 2 has to be completed before we are allowed to put our request for proposals out to market. Next slide. So we received our stage gate 1 approval in April of this year, and we're hoping to be through the next stage by the end of this year, if not in early 2026. Next slide. So of that chart that we were on in stage gate 2, only 2 of those tasks rest with the board. So those are highlighted in yellow there. The remainder of those tasks are really with the DCBS IT team, the DAS, procurement, and EIS, the Enterprise Information Security folks. So there's a whole team that works on getting this project moved forward. Next slide. So you can see here, this is the program project structure. And on the left-hand side, we have been assigned 5 levels of oversight. So of course, that's EIS, which I've been mentioning. We are required to have a quality control vendor. That's the IQMS. We will be soliciting that vendor probably May or June of next year. The goal is to have that coincide with when we have a vendor identified. And of course, the Legislative Fiscal Office, DAS, CFO, and the legislators because of our budgeting requirements. So a whole lot of groups will be involved as we move forward. We're not quite there yet. And I just want to draw your attention to the column in pink at the very bottom, because one of the requirements in that chart is that the board create a statutes and rule advisory committee. And I want to highlight it because the IT's use of advisory committee is not our use of the terms advisory committee. So this is one of those circumstances where there's terms used in IT and in the law, and they're not used the same way. So we've been tasked with having a team internally start reviewing laws and rules and what might need to be changed when we move to an electronic system. So one of the things the board has been doing is trying to see what can we start working on now. So last month at a board meeting, the board looked at, there's a proposal that's been moving forward regarding our rulemaking process, because currently our rules require that we mail proposed rules out to a very large list of individuals, and it's just shy of 1,000. So one of the things we've been working on doing is changing that to electronic system. So that's something that we can start working on now. So we just sent out 1,000 mailers saying, hey, can we please do this by email? So that proposal is getting ready to move through that rulemaking process. When it comes time for us to be doing, of course, legislative concepts and any statutory changes, that would follow a more formal process and, of course, be brought to this group. Next slide. Another requirement of the stage gate process, you can see this is kind of an enlargement of that stage gate 2 section, is that we hire an organizational change management staff person. So the board will be moving forward with that again when we get closer to identifying a vendor. So we're in the throes of doing paperwork currently, and then probably late spring, early summer, a lot more action will be happening, because as we identify a vendor, there will be more pieces like the quality control and hiring an organizational change management. And again, this is part of the required process with DAS EIS. Next slide, please. So when we hire that person, they're going to start working through this process. There are formal change management processes that get put into place on a project like this. And what's important on this chart here is really when we get to that gray column, because when we get closer to identifying what we're going to do, that's when we'll start doing a whole lot more of stakeholder engagement. So we do plan on having meetings, stakeholder meetings, with trying to get how we want our system to function, but those will happen. They're not going to happen right now, because again, the paperwork we're in now is a lot more just agency driven in the functional portions of getting through the stage gate process. When it comes to looking at the actual system, we will be doing more stakeholder engagement, and that's kind of that gray column. And if you move to the next slide, this is the timetable. So we've been through the approval phase. That's the first block. We are currently in that purple box, which is drafting the RFP. We are getting very close to finished, but the RFP cannot post, and that's the third block there, until we are through stage gate 2. Again, we're halfway through those documents, and we do hope to be complete within the next few months. After that is posted for a month and a half, the RFP, then it takes 2 to 3 months to review those. There's contract negotiation and then approval. That last box is what I'm kind of talking about with stakeholder engagement. It says implementation phase, but implementation doesn't mean that it is a final product that is just being worked in. Implementation is we've identified it, and now we need to build it out, really is what that implementation is. Like, we've identified our solution, and now we're going to start integrating it into, making it happen. There's a contract language we were just recently given, and it says one of the things it has is like a 90-day or 120-day go, no go window, which reminds me of the movie Hidden Figures. It's great. They talk about the go, no go date. And so in that time frame, we will be, again, there will be a lot of stakeholder engagement, testing the systems and making sure that we are ready to have a launch date, hopefully in 2028. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a kind of a really quick summary, and I'm happy to take questions. It's like the end of the presentation, but it's just the very beginning, because of course this is our very first report out to this group regarding the direction the board is getting ready to head in. And I'm happy to come give updates as requested, or just when we have some more news to report. Does anyone have questions for me?
It's a very thorough report. Thank you very much. I do have one question. Could you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about what you feel will be improved, or what are some of the efficiencies or issues that you have right now that will be overcome?
Yeah, happy to do that. Absolutely. Thank you, Co-Chair. One of the things our portal currently will do is allows access electronically, but only to licensed attorneys. So the first thing we would like our system to do is give access to everyone, including unrepresented workers. The second thing we're looking forward to a system providing is what's called like a guide-in file, where when they go in to do the system, it kind of tells them here's what goes here, because paperwork can be confusing. So we're hoping for a system that will allow for some guidance as they're filling out each portion of the forms that they need to fill in to file a request for hearing or whatever it is that they're submitting. Another thing we're looking forward to is hoping that it either has multilingual capability or can be integrated with web translation services, like when they it's in the web server, and also e-readers. So those are things that we've put in for as a request to, hey, on the RFP process, you put in your request, we'd like the system to do this, this, and this. So definitely enhanced access to justice. Currently, the practitioners and workers, they're often getting their medical records electronically. So right now they have to print all those out. Sometimes that's 6,000 pages. So it will be definitely more efficient if parties are receiving those in electronic form, that they can then transmit them to us in electronic form. We have settlement documents when they are submitted to us, even if they're submitted electronically, we have to print them out. We have to find the files and we have to send them to where they need to go. That can take several days. So when settlement documents or any documents are filed, getting those to the right locations and to the judge for approval will definitely take less time. And then finally, getting those decisions to the parties. A lot of times funds don't change hands until they have those decisions from the judges in their hand. So right now, the mail can take 5 to 7 days sometimes to get to folks. And having an electronic delivery of the judge's order definitely will speed up those processes. But when it's your paycheck, a week can make a big difference. So getting those decisions to the parties faster is definitely a benefit we are hoping will be provided by the system.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And
I could keep going. Sorry.
oh, that's okay. Well, it's a very long and it seems very well thought out process. So thank you very much for presenting that. And we still have additional bullet points that are under your name. So I'll let you just keep going. The next one's the WCB report, July to September of 25.
So with your permission, I believe we're going to hold that until the next meeting. That was our intention. We wanted to just focus in on modernization for this meeting today. So I apologize, I did not bring that materials ready to present today.
Co-Chair Priest, that was my understanding too, is that Lauren is going to do a presentation on the board report next month. But you do have it to review and the September newsletter.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the newsletter is the other bullet point. It sounds as though it's just material available and it was distributed. So did anybody have questions on any of it or want to call anything out? All right. Well, hearing none, thank you very much, Ms. Doherty, and good luck with your project. You have a lot of work ahead of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so next department update is from our own administrator, Terry Watson, and she's got a workers' compensation division update, I think. I don't know. Or maybe
Thank you, Co-Chair. I am going to pass it to Administrator West, which I believe he's on, and he is going to give an update.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Thanks, Terry. Good morning, co-chairs, members of the committee. For the record, Matt West, Administrator of the Workers' Compensation Division, with two brief updates for you. Just wanted to remind the committee members and those listening of the Rule Advisory Committee on Division 9, 10, and 15 rules, which are the medical rules. That's on November 18th from 1 to 4. It's a hybrid meeting, so if you would like to participate and need that link, please reach out to us. Some of the some of the discussions and issues that came out of the Access to Care Subcommittee are going to be discussed at that advisory committee meeting. So encourage participation. And then the other, just a quick, listening to Joy's modernization update reminded me of how far we've come, but also how far we have to go. But so the WCD modernization project just hit a major milestone yesterday. Our request for proposal was posted to Oregon Buys, and it's now open for bids. So we anticipate there's like 43 days, I believe it's going to be open, where vendors will submit bids, and then that closes December 16th. And then we have a selection committee that'll review those and go through the selection process to choose the vendor that's going to build our next system. So just wanted to share that good news, and as always, appreciate the support of the committee for our project. Happy to answer any questions, or if you have any other WCD related things, please let me know.
All right. I don't. Thank you very much, Matt. And any questions from anyone on the committee? Don't see any hands raised. So we look forward to hearing more next time. So thank you very much. Any other department updates, Terry?
No, Co-Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is MLAC Subcommittee recommendations. And the first is access to care, and we have the two co-chairs are both present, Emily Cronin and Kim Schlesinger, and I will let one of them go through their material and their findings, or both.
Thank you, Co-Chair Priest. I believe I was delegated to go over the recommendations that came out of the subcommittee on access to care. And I think hopefully all of you had a chance to look at that. So from the meetings we had over the summer, we came up with some recommendations that are actually start on page 2. There were some proposals that we reviewed, and some of those were deferred. Lon Halston's proposal was deferred. And I think Dr. Sabo was able to give his proposal today. He reviewed it in the public comments. The SAFE proposal was pulled away. It was pulled back, I should say. So that was no longer on the table. So on the second page of the recommendations, we came to, there was a lot, I guess I should go back to say there was a lot of information. There was a lot of discussion. And from that, we were able to make some immediate, more time current changes. Then there were some things that we needed to look at to going forward. And I think some of those are now being addressed, as Administrator West just stated, in the Rules Advisory Committee. But then really a lot of this has got to be, I think, further discussion. And the stakeholders would like to see this discussion continued. So there was a recommendation to have a task force meet in the springtime to kind of further on this discussion about access to care, because it's complex and it's not something we can, fix in a session. So that was mostly the bulk of the recommendations, is to kind of continue on.
All right, well,
Yep.
well, thank you, Kim, for that. Did you have more that you wanted to add?
No, I was just gonna defer to my co-chair, Emily, if she wanted to add to any of that. If any of the highlights from the recommendations.
Sure, I can add a couple of things. Within the letter, it sort of talks about the 6 buckets that we kind of identified that were common themes across the multiple disciplines that came and presented. So really this summit and hopefully the task force that comes out of that is really going to focus on the multitude of issues that sort of cross section to create this sort of like bottleneck or difficulty with access to care. So we really want to look at statutory issues, rulemaking needs, outreach. A lot of training and education came up, small things that we feel like we can make recommendations on that can be done soon and or immediately to really sort of address some of the gaps in education, which seem to be like a lot of where the bottleneck is coming from. Looking at timely responses and ways that we can improve communication, right? Like we were talking earlier about modernization, additional ways we can improve that across the people, the players, if you will. And so I do really hope that when we get into the spring, we can get a pretty robust group of stakeholders together. I know there's a lot of people here today who are very invested. I'd like to see that expand to providers and health systems that offer this type of care and or don't offer this type of care, but ought offer this type of care. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing these conversations and trying to keep the engagement going to make small changes that make big impacts for our injured workers in the state.
All right, well, thank you very much, Emily and Kim, for your report. And I guess I'll open it up. Are there questions for our subcommittee chairs? Sarah.
Thank you both. I love the guiding principles and the guiding letter to move us forward further. How do you envision the summit happening, and who do you envision taking the reins for that?
That feels like a Terry question. Not really, but I would imagine it would happen similarly to our subcommittee. So those who are interested from this committee participating in at least the initial discussion around what that's going to look like. I think the summit is to gather as many people who are interested or who have a stake in this together in one room to try and talk through what that's going to look like, and then create sort of a charge or a plan from there.
Thank you.
Can I just add to that a little bit, Emily, if that's okay?
No. Please. I mean, you're the one, you know, we're just cats. You heard, and you're so good at it.
I did have a conversation with the Department of Financial Regulation, DFR, yesterday, just introducing the subject and giving them information and asking for help. And they said that they're dealing with similar issues up there, access to care as well. So just starting to have the conversations with people and, you know, the logistics, what would it look like? How do we get there? So we do know that we have a short session coming up. So, you know, it's difficult to, you know, we have to kind of pivot that way, but just starting the dialogue, Sarah, and, you know, starting these conversations now. So just wanted to add that.
Great. So I'm assuming we'll just know more and get updates as they come and hopefully be invited to participate. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, good question, Sarah. And so Terry, it sounds as though that there's more to come. You know, MLAC's role is at this time done with this recommendation, and that we'll just pick up, and when there's an additional request, we'll hear more in a future meeting. Yep, okay, all right. I know we don't have on our agenda the work plan, but I guess at a future meeting, we'll just keep this in mind. It seems like something ripe for addition there.
Co-chair, I'll probably put it on the December meeting agenda so we can look at what we've done this year and
Okay,
recap.
all right, well, thank you very much. All right, any other questions or comments? I'll just join in my praise for the work that you did. It is very difficult work and a lot of moving parts, and I think you summarized things really well. And I like the idea of us, you know, joining forces with others that are working on access to care to kind of just have this as part of the dialogue. So, all right, well, thank you for that. Moving forward, we have our other subcommittee recommendation, which is average weekly wage temporary disability rate for injured workers. Stacy Llewellyn and my co-chair, Scott Strickland, are the co-chairs of this subcommittee, and I will turn it over to one or both of them to give a report.
Thank you, Co-Chair Priest. I'll go ahead and start off, and then Stacy can kind of fill in everything that I miss. I think we felt that we were really lucky having the sort of dual assets of both the amazing work from WCD on the analysts and the data that they were able to compile and put together, and we had some spreadsheets that were really helpful in terms of understanding like cost impacts and situations and for workers, and then how that would kind of play out in terms of benefits and everything. So wanted to take a moment, really shout out WCD's work, tireless efforts there on that. And then the other real benefit that we had was some amazing stakeholder engagement. So we felt that there was, we had a kind of data ramp up where we were just trying to get our hands around what the concerns were that were brought forth that kind of started the need or the perceived need for the subcommittee. I think we had a kind of very long lead up with a ton of information and data, which is all housed on the subcommittee webpage. That I felt like got us to a point where we kind of knew generally what the concerns were and had identified the sort of red flags or the issues that a lot of the stakeholders had in dealing with this issue, that everybody recognized that there was like something that could be done about this situation, but finding a way to do that and thread that needle in a way that doesn't, just completely flip the pendulum one way or another and have another extreme. And we were really lucky. The stakeholders really dug down, really engaged on this, and we were presented finally with a joint labor management, AGC and OBI. Kirsten and Paloma did some amazing work with Odalise from AFSCME and coming together to kind of come up with the proposal that we ultimately kind of jointly centered around, which would be an increase in the disability rate from the current 66 2/3 up to 75% of the injured worker's weekly wage for the portion of wages below 75% of the state average weekly wage. So that's sort of like an initial bucket that gets filled, similar to a tax bracket where it's not one or the other, it's you fill them as you go through. With then all wages on top of the state average week, 75% of the state average weekly wage being a 65%. So there's sort of an increase in the initial bucket to address some of the concerns that were brought forth about low income and disincentivization of low income folks filing and pursuing claims. With then management had identified a bunch of concerns about wanting to make sure that that wasn't done in a way that sort of there was a perception of incentivizing people to stay on and not return to work, and so that initial or that secondary rate having a slight lowering, then we felt kind of addressed all of those concerns in a holistic manner. So, and as stated in the letter, we really could not have done this work without the engagement of the stakeholders, and I think that was really important, and really heartening to see the stakeholders come together and say, this is something that could work for everybody, because that's the goal of MLAC and keeping the system balanced and functional moving forward. So Stacy, I don't know if there's anything that you want to add to that description, if I kind of captured several months of work in a paragraph and a half, or
yes, that was
what
an
else?
excellent recap, Scott. Great job. And just want to echo again how grateful we are to the stakeholders that really came together, dug in and partnered, cooperated, and came up with a reasonable solution that I think benefits the workers, injured workers, absolutely. But it's also something, as what Scott said, that meets in the middle, doesn't swing that pendulum too far. So thank you to all the stakeholders engaged.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that excellent work. I know this is another very technical and challenging area, so I know it required a lot of time and energy. Thank you both. And all the stakeholders as well. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? Sarah.
I want to ask first, thank you both for all of your work, as I know we all appreciate it on our behalf. MLAC, will we be seeing this in the short session?
Scott, did you have an answer for her?
Yeah, sorry, I'm always, do I do the raise hand or just dive in?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, so I think so. We didn't have confirmation from the stakeholders that was guaranteed, but that was the understanding. I think with the recommendation that we have today, that's kind of, we're just reporting back on what the subcommittee found. That, when that comes up or comes back, we can then sort of make sure that whatever is presented is in keeping with the recommendation. But happy to defer to the stakeholders that were involved in that as to the timing of when that'll happen.
Well, I guess that's a caller. Is there a stakeholder that has an answer that's willing to speak up?
I can take the question. Good morning, co-chairs. Yes, it is our intention to bring a bill in 2026. We are connecting with legislators here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get an answer, or at least we'll have a commitment before the deadline date here in the next couple of weeks. And our intention is to confirm that in our next December meeting, hopefully. And I also just want to appreciate Kirsten and Paloma and Maggie for meeting with me and having those conversations. I think they at least for me, they were a great experience to have and to have all the data points I think available from both NCCI, the division to work on it and like have the space and the dialogue. We definitely couldn't have done it, and props to Stacy. Actually, it was her proposal, her counter proposal, for like thinking outside the box. I think like that those are super helpful perspectives to have. MLAC has done a great job. I think that the spaces the spaces we did what we were supposed to do in this space, so I think it works. And yeah, we definitely met in the middle. It's not exactly what we wanted, and it sounds like it's not exactly what folks on the other side wanted, but I appreciate the dialogue and look forward to presenting you all with an LC hopefully soon. Once that gets drafted, I'll be working with Terry to make sure that the timing on that is correct. And then for the implementation date, I think we were looking at 2027, which is what folks had requested.
Okay, thank you for that update. I appreciate all your work as well. And Ivo Trummer has his hand raised. You're on mute though, Ivo.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. And I think Odalise basically covered what I was going to say. I just wanted to say that in terms of implementation, assessment, and in terms of costs, both NCCI and us, when we looked at costs or what it would, how it would impact the system, looked at injuries occurring on or after January 1, 2027. And I just said that a couple of times at the subcommittee, and I just wanted to say it here on the record as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. All right, any other comments or questions? I think we'll still be talking more about this as the LC comes forward, and so I appreciate everyone's work, and sounds like it'll be a good discussion at that time. All right, is there anything else, Administrator Watson, to bring before our meeting?
No, I just want to remind everybody that December 4th, we are having an in-person meeting, if you can make it, and it'll be here in the L&I building in conference room 260.
Okay, good. All right, well, thank you. Sarah Duckwall has her hand raised.
I would like to note my absence on December 4th. Thank you.
We'll miss you.
Oh, Sarah.
Margaret Waddell, are we gonna miss you too?
Yeah, I'll be traveling
Oh,
and I won't be able to be at that meeting.
we'll miss both of you. I guess we can't miss anybody else, otherwise we won't have a quorum, right? What's a quorum is?
It's 3 and 3 on each side.
Yeah. So everybody stay well, so we can have a conduct business. All right, well, thanks for that. I guess since we're ending so early, I always like to ask for a motion to adjourn. Somebody willing to make that motion, or we'll just sit here and wait?
Make a motion.
Okay,
or second.
So I see Margaret raised her hand and Sarah, did you second? I think. I don't know.
Lauren did, but I'll
Lauren did.
second. I'll second.
Okay, all right. Lauren and Ryan, we have lots of people you can choose. All right, and is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Same sign. Okay, with that, I just thank everyone for their attention today. It was a quick meeting, but a good one. And I look forward to seeing you all in person in December. Thank you.
Thank you.